Hello, friends.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
The Bears. The Bears.
I am the great Cornholio.
We'll see what happens.
The playoffs?
See, Sean McDonough, Jay Billis. Goose.
Can you play a song? Something cool.
Put my mic on.
I'm calling both games.
Oh, baby. Goes down the field for Smith.
Oh, he got it.
Seattle. We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
Let's get into the Arizona Cardinals. And, oh boy. The Arizona Cardinals were the only undefeated team coming into last night's game against the Packers. And, well, they were bound to lose a game sometime, but they were in a really good position to win that game last night, even though they were down late. And, I mean, they really choked it away. So, I was watching the game, and they went to the 2-minute warning. Arizona had the ball. Let me just kind of reset things for you. So 2 minutes left. Green Bay, no timeouts. Arizona, 2 timeouts. Arizona was on about the 40-yard line or so, the Green Bay 40-yard line. So they were pretty much already in field goal range, right, for maybe a super long field goal. Point is, they had plenty of time to get into a decent field goal range. And I said this live. I said this as I was watching the game live. Here is what Arizona should do. Keep matriculating the ball down the field. Get to the 15, 20-yard line with about 20, 30 seconds left. Give yourself about 3 plays to try to win it with a touchdown. 3 shots to the end zone, right? I think maybe, you run the ball a few times to get, to melt the clock down a little bit, right? You have 2 minutes. You don't need the entire 2 minutes, and you don't want to leave any time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers. We know what happens when you leave time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers. So run the ball a few times, and then you call a timeout with about 20, 30 seconds left. You give yourself 3 shots to the end zone and 1 timeout in case of emergency. You give yourself, again, 3 plays to win it with a touchdown. You have 1 timeout in emergency to stop the clock one last time in case you didn't score a touchdown and you need a field goal. So that's what I said, right? And, you kind of give yourself 20 seconds left, and, I think you take some shots to the end zone, try to win it. If not, you tie the game late with a short field goal, go into overtime. So late in the game, with about 20 seconds left, they used a timeout already. So they're down to 1 timeout, and with 20 seconds left, they run the ball. They hand the ball off to, I think it was Connor or Edmonds. I don't know. I forget exactly who it was. They get no more than 5 yards, and they're forced to call their last timeout with about 15 seconds left. So now with 15 seconds left, they're forced to throw the ball, and as I said, they're forced to, so they do. And if you saw the highlight, and it was everywhere because it was such a crucial part of the game, and if you missed it, I'm sure if you go onto any social media platform, any sports news website, you'll find the clip of what happened. 15 seconds left. They're forced to throw the ball. Murray drops back to throw. Murray forced to kind of go to his right a little bit out of the pocket. He has to get rid of the ball before he gets sacked. He throws it to A.J. Green in the end zone, and for whatever reason, A.J. Green is like blocking in the end zone. And if you go watch the clip, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But A.J. Green gets to the end zone and continues to just block. He continues to have his back to the ball, and that was really confusing, as he coming out of the huddle, the play, that it's a pass play, and I mean, I don't know, I've never played football, but for me at least, common sense tells me on a play from the 15-yard line, when you're going to the end zone, you, as a receiver, you get to the end zone, and as soon as you get to the end zone, you turn back to the ball. You turn back to the quarterback to see whether or not he's going to throw it to you or not, right? That's just common sense. That's football 101. You get to the end zone on short field, you get to the end zone, you turn around, come back to the quarterback, say, okay, now I'm ready for the ball, right? That's your signal, like, okay, here, I'm ready, right? And so A.J. Green gets to the end zone, and he just keeps his back to the ball. He just keeps blocking, And I don't know who he was blocking for. There's nobody behind him. It wasn't a run play. Murray wasn't scrambling. You know, he took a few steps to his right and then threw the ball. Murray wasn't running to the end zone. There was no need for A.J. Green to be blocking. And that was kind of for me at least, I think that was a sign that A.J. Green is not totally like, this is a new team for him. So I think that's kind of a chemistry issue. And he wasn't, totally, he obviously wasn't ready. He wasn't paying attention. And A.J. Green, as I said, he wasn't paying attention, but the Packers defender was. The ball kind of, I think it went off like A.J. Green's like shoulder or his helmet or something. The Packers defender tips it, and then he kind of tips it into his hands and catches it and intercepts it for a touchback in the end zone. And like A.J. Green, the ball, like he just wasn't paying attention at all. And that lack of readiness cost them the game. And I think people are going to be really quick to say that, oh, that's on I almost called him Kenneth Murray. That's I don't know where I got that name from. A lot of people are going to be quick to kind of throw blame on Kyler Murray. He didn't have a great game last night, but that one play, that's not on him. He had to get out of the pocket. He had to get rid of that ball before he got sacked. With no timeouts, he had to get rid of the ball. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. He had to get rid of the ball, and that's on A.J. Green. Like I said, you get to the end zone, the first thing you do once you get in the end zone as a receiver, you turn around and look back at the quarterback, turn around, look back at the play, so that way you're ready for the ball if it comes to you. Can't catch it when your back is to the play. So that's on A.J. Green, and that's really unfortunate for them because that's, if he just turns around, the Cardinals are undefeated right now. And that stinks for them. That's really sad for them. And, I don't know. I think that's something that's a learning experience for the Cardinals. I don't know. I don't think he's going to make that same mistake again. And if he does, he won't be getting the ball a lot. So taking a look at the stats for this game, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers 22 of 37 for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns passing. And for me at least, the 2 touchdowns passing were pretty that's pretty impressive considering 3 of his best receivers were out. I think Devontae Adams was out due to COVID. I know Alan Lazard was out. I think it was due to COVID as well. And then Valdez Scantling was also out. And I think that, I don't know if that was COVID or if that was an injury. I think that was an injury. Out of the backfield, A.J. Dillon, 16 rushes, 78 yards. Aaron Jones, 15 rushes, 59 yards, 1 touchdown. Aaron Jones was the leading receiver in terms of yards for the Packers, 7 receptions for 51 yards. And Rodgers had 184 yards. Aaron Jones was the leading receiver for 51 yards. So I think that, Aaron Rodgers kind of spread the wealth evenly. Excuse me. He spread the ball all around to every different target possible. And I think that's the only way to really do things when your top 3 receivers are out. Randall Cobb was also a big target in that game as well for the Packers. On the other side of the ball for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, 22 of 33, 274 yards passing, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think the Cardinals had 3 turnovers total. That's the killer for them, right? Packers had no turnovers. Cardinals had 3. That's the deciding factor of the game. And I think, we can sit here and we can give the blame to A.J. Green all day long, but if the Cardinals don't have those other 2 turnovers, maybe the Cardinals don't. Maybe it doesn't come down to that play, right? Maybe if Kyler Murray doesn't have that other interception, and I guess there was a fumble somewhere along the line. If those other 2 turnovers don't happen, maybe the game doesn't come down to whether or not A.J. Green turns around. Chase Edmonds was the leading rusher for the Cardinals, 7 rushes, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. James Conner had the most touchdowns out of the backfield for the Cardinals, 5 receptions, 22 yards, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 receptions, 66 yards. A.J. Green, 5 receptions, 50 yards. Christian Kirk, 4 receptions, 46 yards. And Zach Ertz, 4 receptions, 42 yards. So the Cardinals had plenty of opportunities to win this game. As I said, they had 3 turnovers in this game, and they don't have those turnovers. They win the game, right? A.J. Green turns around, they win the game. And that's just how it goes. That's just how the cookie crumbles for the Arizona Cardinals. And the classic ESPN take happened after the game, where I think it was Damian Woody on SportsCenter was like, after this game, I can really say that the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC. And I was like, bro, get out of here. Get out of here, man. Like, that is just ridiculous. The only reason the Packers won that game is because A.J. Green did not turn around and catch a ball. That's it. And that's the classic take, right? The Arizona Cardinals are still undefeated if A.J. Green turns around. And, like, it's so expected and so classic of ESPN for one game for them to just be like, oh, that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need to say what team's the best in the NFC. And I don't know. I just thought that was really kind of silly for me. The Cardinals are still good. The Cardinals are still legit in my book. And I think that the Packers, right? I'm not saying the Packers are bad. I'm not saying, well, they need to prove more for me. I'm not saying that. Packers are really good. Cardinals are really good. For right now, I don't know who the best team in the NFC is. I think it's between Green Bay, Tampa, and Arizona. I don't know that you can say Green Bay is the best team in the NFC because A.J. Green doesn't turn around. Yeah, I don't know. And you can look at that you can look at how Green Bay is the best team right now in the NFC. You can look at that and have a few different reasons for that. You can say it's because they beat the Cardinals, or you can say it's because Aaron Rodgers led the team to win when he had no weapons. He literally had nobody. I think even Robert Tonyan got injured in that game in the game late as well. So, you can say, well, Aaron Rodgers took that team and he carried that team, something that is very difficult to do, as I mentioned earlier in the show. He carried the team to beat a very good Cardinals team with no weapons. His top 3 weapons were out, and they still win the game. And that's a very reasonable argument. But I think that I don't know. I think that any team can win right now. Any one of those teams, Tampa, Green Bay, and Arizona, any one of those teams can beat each other, right? Just because Green Bay beat Arizona this week doesn't mean that they're going to beat them again later in the playoffs, right? Or down the road in the playoffs, potentially. Arizona could come back and beat Green Bay in the playoffs, right? That was such a close game that, I think that, sure, Green Bay, each team, to me at least, proved to me that they can beat each other last night. And I think each team in their own way proved to me that they were legit. The Packers coming into that game really hadn't played anybody all that great. They finally get a chance to play somebody good. They don't have any weapons, and they still come away victorious in that game. That's great. Arizona hung tough with a really good Packers team. Arizona, they blew out the Rams earlier this year. They blew out the Titans earlier this year. The Cardinals, I don't have any questions about the Cardinals right now. Cardinals in my book are legit. I like the Cardinals over the Rams to win the NFC West. Tampa, I think they're gonna run away with the NFC South as well. But again, for me at least, I wouldn't be too quick to crown a team in the NFC just yet. There are 4 or 5 teams at the top: Cowboys, Packers, Bucks, Cardinals, and Rams. Any 5 of those teams could go to the NFC Championship and win and go to the Super Bowl. Any 5 of those teams have a legit shot. There's no team right now that, for me, is the front runner. They're all the front runner. It's going to be very interesting to see how that thing shapes out.
Shut up and sit down.